I have decided the US is no longer allowed to make adaptations.
That's it. That's my intro.
Hi, I'm Amanda, you're watching Swell Entertainment. Today, I am talking about the business proposal adaptation from Netflix. This is the most fun I've had with an adaptation and a rom-com in probably years. Like, genuinely, I enjoyed this so much. Spoiler alert, I loved this show. Psst, really quick. I made it to the semifinals of the Influence Me TV contest. So if you want the chance to potentially see me on a reality TV show duking it out with other influencers, feel free to go down to the description box and find my voting link. You're going to click that link, scroll all the way down to the very bottom to get your one free vote. I've never really gotten into K-dramas. I just haven't. They've just kind of always been something like, okay, eventually, like, I'll start watching. This turned me. I'm a believer. I'm obsessed now. I want more. This was so much fun. And okay, hold on. Let me do my job. Hold on. The business proposal adaptation is based on the webcomic of the same name. And I actually read the webcomic on Tapas, the platform. God, I think I finished reading it sometime last year. I don't remember specifically, but it's been a while since I've read the webcomic in full because this show is obviously in Korean and I don't speak Korean and I had to use subtitles and I'm dyslexic. It took me a little bit to get through this show, longer than it normally does for me to binge watch a show. In doing that, I wasn't able to reread the webcomic in time to film this video. I do remember some specific differences from the webcomic to the adaptation, but not the specifics. The reason I did my opening the way that I did with the US not being allowed to do adaptations anymore, it's because this show showed me that even though there are changes that can be made to like a source material, like a webcomic or a book or anything, the overall vibe can still be maintained and it can still be enjoyable. There were things watching the show that I'm like, this is different. This is not the same. But I didn't care because it was still in the same vein. It was so fun. They clearly had fun making it. I liked it. I enjoyed this so much. And that's why I think the US can't be trusted because so many adaptations lately, I don't know what it is. It's like they don't even like the source material that they're adapting. Why would we read the thing that we're adapting when we can make our own story? Then make your own story. Don't call it the same title. Do something else. So before I get into the explaining the premise of the webcomic and then going through the show a little bit, I want to apologize right off the bat. I will probably be pronouncing names wrong. I will do my very best, and I'm not doing it on purpose. I literally have the cast list and stuff open here to try and get this correct, but we shall find out. I apologize. The premise of the webcomic is pretty similar to the premise of the show. Shinhari goes on a blind date in place of her friend because her friend on the show, Young Seo, does not want to go on the blind date. In the show, they change it so that she's actually done this for Young Seo previously and previously had acted like she was possessed on this date so that her dad would stop setting her up. She's like, look, I'll pay you so that you can go on this blind date for me. Hari does not have the same money. Her family situation is not the same. And Young Seo is rich. Something that people were kind of complaining about, but not complaining about, at least that I saw on TikTok, was that the wig that she wears is not pink. In the webcomic, her wig is pink. I don't think it mattered. I think it worked very well the way they did it. In the webcomic, she goes on the blind date, finds out that the man she's meeting is Kang Tae-moo, who is the CEO of Hari's company. And so she's freaking out, but she's like, he's never gonna bump into me. He's the new president. He just transferred from the US branch. Like, it's never gonna happen. Kang Tae-moo is work obsessed. In order to appease his grandfather, he's like, okay, I'll go on one blind date. And then he decides, I'm just gonna marry this one. Like, the first woman that I go on a blind date with, I'm just gonna have to marry her. And she can go do whatever she wants, so I don't waste my time with more blind dates. And she'll just be my wife and can go do whatever she wants. And that's kind of essentially the same thing that happens here, where he goes on the blind date with Hari. Hari realizes who he is and she panics, but she's like, okay, I'm in all this makeup. He thinks I'm Young Seo. This is going to work out. And so she just goes about her plan of trying to destroy the day. And side note, this sequence in the show of this first date is the most it's just so fun. Oh my God, it's so great. It's like the mindset of every girl trying to be like, I need to get out of the state. It's so fun. She's like being like, okay, I'm obsessed with like material goods. So she's talking to her shoes like, oh no, babies. Like, it's so good. She's trying to be pushy. She's like, look, I was with all these dudes before this. I am with so many guys. You don't want to be with me. Okay, that's not working. He doesn't care. Maybe if I just, throw myself at him, he won't want to be with someone who wants to put out on the first date. And he calls her bluff. And so the transition in the show, it's like, obviously he's not going to want to be with me. And then it transitions to her looking distraught and so anxious because he's like, okay, bet. And goes and gets a hotel room because they're meeting at a hotel. I just love this scene so much. The date scene was so much fun. I enjoyed it so much. He decides he's going to marry her. And so he tells the grandfather like, oh yeah, I'm going to marry her. And so they tell Young Seo's parents it's this whole thing. And so she's like, what did you do? He's talking about marriage. What am I supposed to do? I thought you were going to ruin the date. It's like, I did. Why would he want to marry me? At the same time, there is Cha Sung-hoon, who is Mr. Cha, as well as Taemu's secretary. And also like kind of like a surrogate brother of sorts to him. He's kind of just always there. He's like also the driver, picks everyone up. But what ends up happening is that Young Seo bumps into Sung-hoon at like a convenience store and she's like immediately in love with him. Like immediately. I loved their relationship. I thought it was very cute. It's kind of like a role reversal. Their dynamic is switched between Hari and Taemu with Young Seo and Sung-hoon. Hari is like the commoner. So is Sung-hoon in this situation. And Young Seo is rich, obviously. I like their dynamic a lot. I thought it was really fun to see the different reversals here and all of that. She keeps like, okay, I'm going to bump into him again. Maybe I'll bump into him again. There's this really fun scene between Young Seo and Hari where they get super drunk together. The cops are involved. It's dramatic. It's very fun. The next morning, they just kind of accept the like, okay, Young Seo is like, okay, I'm going to go tell him the truth. We're just going to end this. And I hired you to take the space for me. And so that way he doesn't have to find out that you work at his company. I believe in the webcomic, Hari works in like the finance department, but in the show, they wanted it to have kind of like more of an active role, which makes sense. So she's actually in the research team. She's team 1, research and development at the company, which I think fits for what they did in the show because there's more potential interaction between Taemu and Hari in this regard. So I think that worked. The Go Food Group is Taemu's company and all of that. And so because Hari loves her job and doesn't want to lose her job because of student loans and helping out her family and all of that, she doesn't want to lose her job and have him find out because there's this whole thing of like, he hates lies over everything else. Young Seo goes to meet with Taemu. And then she bumps into Sung-hoon at the same time because he's the driver. And so she's like, oh, I'm sorry. Like they talk and it's like, oh, I'm Young Seo. And he's like, I don't like liars. And it's like, what? And so that's where the reveal comes in. So Taemu and Young Seo talk. He's trying to figure out like, okay, you lied to me. Who is this woman? It's just someone I hired. And Taemu is like, well, she had that same bag that you have. Isn't that her bag? And she's like, no, that's not my bag. Her bag is way different than this one. Oh, I thought you guys weren't friends. How would you know what type of bag she had if you guys weren't friends? Young Seo basically sets up Hari ends up being Gyum-hee, I believe is how you pronounce it, is the fake name that she ends up using, which ended up coming from a K-drama as well within the show. Is it Gyum-hee? Is that how I say it? I don't know. I feel bad. They meet up again. Young Seo is like, okay, here you go. Just go deal with it. Just apologize to him and be done with it. Like for lying to him because he feels like he wasted his time. Taemu basically kind of forces her into a contract fake relationship so that he still doesn't have to go on more blind dates. And because it fills in the gap with like, oh yes, no, I can't marry Young Seo because this is Gyum-hee and this is who I'm marrying. We just got back together because we broke up when I was in New York and all this other stuff. And this is where we get a lot of like the fun back and forth of like her trying to hide her true identity from him, especially at work, because she is the #1 researcher on the first research team. And she's come up with a couple of different ideas for the company that he is like excited about or at least interested in. They end up going to a concert together because Minwoo gave Hari the tickets for her birthday and they were just in her bag. And so the grandpa, who is the chairman of the company, is like, no, this is why your girlfriend doesn't tell you things, you little rascal, whatever. He calls him rascal in the comic a lot. I don't think he did it ever in the show. I did like their dynamic. I wasn't really sure how I felt about the changes to grandfather in the show itself towards the end, but we'll talk. But they go to a concert together. She is given a gift from the show, from the concert, but it's like kind of like the first time that he like kind of sees her as like, oh yes, this is a person that I actually like potentially. And he starts kind of falling for her over the date. They have their fake anniversary date coming up. And so they end up going on the date because Taemu is like, grandfather's going to find out if I go on this, if we don't spend the day together. So we need to go. So they go and do like, they try on clothes. He buys her a dress. They do dinner together. But there's also fireworks, kind of throwing himself into it without even, I think he knows at this point that he's like, yeah, we're going to get married. Like, it's just gotta happen. I'm just going to marry her. Fake relationship or not, we're just going to get married, because he does enjoy her or spending time with her at the very least. He was kind of forced on all of these like blind dates at one point, and his whole thing with like, before he realizes that young Seo is not young Seo, it's already Yoon-hee, that he was forced on all these blind dates really quick. And he was like, they all said the same thing and none of them were fun. Like, yeah, young Seo was a menace on our date, but at least she was entertaining. Like she wasn't boring. And so seeing this version of her, even in a fake relationship, there's multiple times where he's like, this isn't real. So stop acting like it's real. We're not actually on a real date, because they keep having like little moments. And he's like, he's getting confused because it's like, you're making me feel things. I had so much fun with this show. I am a sucker for certain things in romantic comedies. I just am. But like him smiling at her and her not seeing, God, messes me up in my head. I should explain Minwoo. I should explain all of that because it's going to become a problem in a minute. So Minwoo is Harui's friend from college. They've been friends for 7 years. She has had a crush on him for like 7 years. She thinks that for her birthday, he is going to like tell her the truth. Like, oh, I actually have feelings for you. Let's be together. Instead, she goes and finds out that he actually got back together with his ex-girlfriend who they had previously broken up, Yura. And they are back together. So she's like kind of distraught. She's upset. She's crying. Taemu hears because he calls her and she answers by mistake and hears her crying. But because Minwoo is a chef, one of the things that she pitches to the company is his white kimchi, because they do food overseas, frozen meals and pre-made meals and things like that. And she's like, okay, for our team, I think we should work with Minwoo. And so they start spending a lot of time together at work, and as well as Taemu and Minwoo start spending time together, sort of, at least with work, because president of the company, head chef of the new project, you know, spending time together. Taemu has brought Harui home quite a few times. Obviously, her house, Yoon-hee's house, and Harui's house are the same house. He knows that Minwoo is friends with Harui, does not know that Minwoo and Yoon-hee know each other, because technically they don't. After their anniversary date, he brings her home, and then he realizes that she left her wallet in the car. And so he goes to bring it back and sees Minwoo at the her home, and then also her family's chicken restaurant that she also works at, and sees her taking stuff out, and sees Harui because she's not wearing her wig or the makeup or her clothes. And so he opens the wallet and sees Harui's ID and then calls her, and Harui answers it. And also, oh my God, what did she call him? She calls him like a prehistoric bird at one point. Archaeopteryx. Fuck. Archaeopteryx is how you say the word. Sorry to William. We would have cut out like literally 3 minutes of me searching for the name of that. Anyways, she puts him in her phone as that. And so every time he calls, like a little Archaeopteryx like GIF pops up and like flaps its wings with like a caw, like a caw sound. It's very fun. But he calls her, and so she's like answers as Yoon-hee, and he finds out the truth. So the next episode, he is pissed. He's super pissed about finding out that she has fooled him yet again and made him fall for someone who does not exist. That's what it is. So he's basically running Harui rampant and like not telling her the truth that he knows, but he's like, okay, Yoon-hee, come and meet me for lunch. I'm gonna go meet with research group 1. And so she has to rush back to work and do her job. And he's like making her redo the ravioli that he's already approved several times to be 20% cheaper, because that's her job. And I did like this montage because he's like, just keep doing like again. And he, at certain points, he's like clearly likes the food that she's made. And he's just like, again, like do it again. I think he kind of respected the fact that she was still trying to like match up, because she has no idea that he knows who she is. And so what ends up happening is she ends up winning the best researcher award or something. Like she ends up winning an award for her bucket list fish or another food item that she made. And so she's going to have to accept the reward in person. But Taemu is like, okay, well, you have to go with me to this event because grandfather's going to be there. And if you don't go, then you have to pay the penalty, which is something like 2 million won or something insane. And so she can't afford that. She's like, I can't pay the penalty. And he's like, okay, then I guess you're going with me. He's trying to catch her in the act because he wants her to admit that she is Shinhari and beg for forgiveness. That's what he wants, is he wants her to beg for forgiveness. There's this like whole dream sequence that she has of like her getting caught and being terrified. Hari and her team, they go out to dinner and get drunk to celebrate her being nominated and winning. And there's this whole scene back and forth between Mr. Gi Bin, and I'm going to refer to her as Miss Yo because that's how she's referred to on the show. Miss Yo is the queen. A queen, routinely. Every episode she is in, she commands respect, and she's the best character. She's so fun. Her and Mr. Gi end up dating at a certain point, but she does not take any of his shit, even when they are dating. It's great. She just routinely just chops this man's ego down. It's fantastic. She's a great character. I liked her a lot. But they're all out to dinner and celebrating. She gets super drunk because she's stressed out. She was originally going to just be like, oh, I can't go to the event to accept it, so someone else can accept on my behalf. The way that Taemu kind of avoids that is he personally invites her parents and let them know that she won an award. But she gets super drunk and ends up calling him and is like, why are you being so mean to me? Like, why are you doing this? I'm not drunk, whatever. Ends up getting into like a little altercation with kids who are smoking or not an altercation with them. She like falls and he like rushes to her side. Like she has this man stressed out. And so he rushes to her side. She's super drunk. So she's like, this is a dream. You wouldn't have rushed all the way over here if this wasn't a dream. So it doesn't matter. And so I can tell you this since this is a dream. And she admits that Shinhari and Shin Gyum-hee are the same person. And it feels really good to say that. And he just kind of realizes that he's been a dick. Like, he's like, what am I doing? Like, what do I like her this much that I'm like this upset about this? And so he like fires her from being the contract for his fake girlfriend. And so she's able to go and get their award and her parents go and it's no problem. Okay, wait, I need to back up. Let me back up. Young Seo moved out of her dad's house because he kept trying to force her onto blind dates and she kept saying no. So she left and had to get her own place. Ends up getting the apartment right next to Sung-hoon. She is still totally into him. And she's like, we can at least be friends, you know? And he's like, actually, you put Taemu in a really bad situation. And so, no, we can't be friends. I'm drawing a line. We are not crossing it. Even though he clearly also is very into her, but they keep bumping into each other. And what ends up happening is there is another person in her building who becomes obsessed with her and is like wearing glasses, but doesn't need glasses. And he clocks that. Sung-hoon does. But he gifts Young Seo a lamp. And she doesn't put it up right away. But eventually what ends up happening is that Hari spends the night and sets up the lamp. And the lamp is actually a hidden camera. And this man was filming Young Seo in her apartment and also got Hari on camera at the same time. So what ends up happening is she breaks the lamp, Young Seo does, by accident and realizes that there's a camera. So she's going to take it to the police for evidence and all of that. And the man who placed it or planted it in her apartment finds it and steals the bag. And Sung-hoon is there, sees it. And she's like, he filmed me without my permission. Get him. Chases him down. There's this great and so much fun. The most fun I've had in a random chase sequence in so long. More random chase sequences in rom-coms. This was so fun. Anyway, he does like a full spin kick. I love the show. They get the camera, they get the thing, and they take him to the police station, all this stuff. What ends up happening is grandfather is like, hey, Shin Gyum-hee, I haven't seen you in a while. Let's go get lunch. And so even though Taemu like released her from her contract, she's like, I can't just be disrespectful and turn him down. Why didn't you tell him that we broke up? So she's going to meet him, but then also Taemu was also invited because it's like, oh, we're going to force you two together and work out whatever issues you have. Taemu is there, sees Hari dressed as Gyum-hee there, and Young Seo is at the police station. Come on, Hari, let's go. And she's like, and it's like, yeah, we don't have time for this. Like, we need to get to the police station. And that's where the reveal kind of all happens and everyone finds out the truth about everyone else. Hari doesn't want to be fired, but she knows that there's a chance she's going to be fired because she realizes that obviously Taemu knew about who she was, and that's why he was running her rampant and all this stuff. She goes and is like, please don't fire me. And he's like, let's meet. Let's meet for dinner. And he's basically going to like propose that he gets married to Hari because he's like, I realized I have feelings for her. I'm great. She won't say no. He's like, I'm tall, rich, and good looking. What is she going to say? No. Hari has this man stressed out because there's multiple chances that he has where he could just literally tell Hari how he's feeling. And instead he goes like he tries to keep making these big gestures and they're not working out because obviously Hari is scared of being fired. She doesn't think that he's hitting on her. She thinks that he's testing her because he's waiting for an excuse to fire her. And so he like invites her to this restaurant and has like this whole cake planned, like a necklace or a ring or whatever, and has this whole plan in mind of like how they're going to start dating with marriage in mind as like his proposal to her, basically. She comes with like a literal binder of all the good work she's done since being at GoFood and is like, please don't fire me. It'd be a bad idea for you to fire me because I am a great employee. So you should not fire me. Instead, I will give you 110%. And so he basically, rather than just tell her like, I'm not going to fire you, I'm interested in you, he keeps trying to do like these weird roundabout gestures because he just can't say the words like, I like you. Why don't you get that? He invites her on like a weekend trip under the guise that it's for work when really he just wants to spend extra time with her. I think he assumed that like getting her away from the company would like help. Like, okay, if we're not actually at work, maybe she'll know that I have feelings for her. He like orders like this burger place to come and meet them where they're going to be meeting at a beach because he saw about it on her social media. I liked it. It was it was like a really thoughtful moment. But again, she doesn't know that it's romantic because he doesn't tell her. So it's like really cute, but also I want to strangle this man because it's like just tell her. There's this whole thing with rain. Taemu's parents were killed in a car accident during a rainstorm. So he ends up kicking her out of the car at one point when it starts raining because he's driving and he's terrified and is just like, just get away, like get out because he doesn't want her to see him melting down, but also he's melting down. And so he like leaves her on the side of the road in the rain without her bag. And so she walks to a hotel and charges her phone because her phone died. And while she's there, Minwoo's girlfriend, Yura, and like 3 of her other friends are there because Minwoo was shooting a commercial. And so they're like, oh yeah, no, we made like a little trip of it. Like, oh, where's your boyfriend? Because Hari said like, oh, I can't go with you guys because I'm going on a trip with my boyfriend or I have a boyfriend now. And Minwoo's like a little jealous. Like I felt like that was more clear in this show than in the webcomic. In the webcomic, he's definitely like annoyed when he meets Taemu and hears that Hari's like spending time with someone. But I feel like it was way more clear in the show, at least from my memory. And so Taemu had called Hari's phone and someone at the hotel had picked up. And so that's how he knew where she was. So he shows up and is just like, okay, this works. Now I get to be the fake boyfriend. Hey, babe, just keeps calling her babe and is just full on clingy boyfriend mode the entire time he's around their friends. And so he takes the girls to dinner. And at one point she's like, this place is really expensive. And he's like, do you know what this card and my love for you have in common? They are both limitless. Something about the editing of this show too, it just makes it so fun. They spend the whole weekend together, still under the guise that they're like fake dating. She's like, thank you for, helping me or whatever to Taemu, and Taemu like brings her home and is like, you really not realize why I spent the whole weekend like pretending to be the perfect boyfriend in front of your friends, and like basically confesses his feelings to her and is like, take your time to think about it, and then immediately regrets telling her to take her time because she starts avoiding him because she's panicking. And he's like, why did I should have given her a deadline. He's like, I should have given her a deadline. He keeps doing this with his hair. He's like, I'll wait for her to come to me. But they bump into each other. And then because there's this whole thing with grandfather where he does not like Hari because when she was still Gyumhee and dating Taemu for grandfather, there was a couple of times where he bumped into her as Hari and she kept trying to hide her face so he wouldn't recognize her. And because of that, like she bumped into him, he got hurt. Like there's just a lot of like coincidences that kind of suck. So he really does not like Hari, but he likes Gyumhee. And so when Sunghoon, Taemu, and Hari are all together, Sunghoon distracts Grandpa. These two run. They end up hiding crammed together. He's like, you've been hiding from me. And she's like, it's your fault that you keep making me think of you. They end up kissing. And then the next episode, she's like, oh, that was like a freak thing. Yeah, no, let's pretend that didn't happen. I'm sorry, that did not happen, and freaks out. Young Seo and Sung-hoon, at a certain point, they kept going to the same restaurant, and she got super drunk and like left. And he was like, you're drunk, let me get you home. And is still trying to keep the barrier. And she's like, I'm trying not to cross the line, but if you don't let go of me, and he's like, if I let go of you, you're going to fall because you're super drunk. She's like, if you don't let go of me, I'm going to cross the line. I'm going to cross the line. Anyway, she kisses him and pulls back. He kisses her back. Anyway, she wakes up the next morning. They boned, and she remembers none of it. She has flashes, and that's it. And she's mortified that she does not remember having sex with someone that she thought was like the love of her life, basically. She's like, I am obsessed with him. Why could I not? Like, that's so embarrassing. He's going to hate me when he finds out I don't remember. And so she starts avoiding him, like tells him like, let's pretend that didn't happen. It was a freak thing. Like, bestie, what are you doing? Anyway, he like confronts her, like, you said you were interested in me, and then now this. And she explains, like, I don't remember anything. And he's like, okay, I'll just make sure you remember. And then so they start dating. I love their relationship so much. Taemu is sent on another blind date by grandfather because they broke up. And so Hari finds out and is super pissed and calls him, and it's like, you made me fall for you, and now you're going on another blind date. Like, this is your fault. I kept waiting for you to text me back all day. There's a back and forth. During this argument, Minwoo had found out about the arrangement and goes to confront them and punches Taemu because he thinks that he's trying to force Hari into kissing him and this whole thing. And so Hari separates them, all of that, takes Minwoo home. And tells him, like, I do like him. But she, like, apologizes, like, I hope you get home safe. He never replies. And so that's why she texts him and she calls him and is like, I was waiting for you to text me back all day. He's like, I like hearing that you're kind of jealous. He did not go on the blind date. He sent Sung-hoon on the blind date. Hari and Taemu admit, like, yes, I have feelings for you. I know this probably won't work out, but I'm like willing to give it a shot, because she was hesitant to give it a shot because she knows that he is her boss and all of that and how that's going to look. And so she's like, okay, let's give it a try. They start dating in secret. It's dramatic. There's some really good moments there, but it's also like super awkward. Grandfather finds out about Shin-hari and Kyung-ki and all of that, and like basically is like, come, like, you need to stop seeing him. At first I thought this was a miscommunication, but he really doesn't like Shin-hari. And Hari ends up going to the hospital because Taemu ends up getting in a car accident and hurting his arm. And grandfather's super pissed and is like, what are you doing here? This is your fault. Like, he obviously got into an accident because of you, which, I mean, technically, yes, because I'm assuming the way it's played out is like Taemu found out that she was meeting with the grandfather. And that's why he drove the way that he did and then ended up getting hurt. So, I mean, in a way, yes, but it's because he was worried about his girlfriend. Hari has been very involved in Minwoo's project at the company. And so she's been in a bunch of videos and stuff. And what ended up happening is a couple of videos of them together went viral, and people were commenting like, you guys should be, they're so cute. I bet they're dating. I wonder if they're dating. And Yura, Minwoo's girlfriend, was pissed because she's dating Minwoo. This is just a factor of being on the internet. People like to speculate. She confronts Hari and is like, I wasn't even interested in Minwoo all those years ago, but you told me that if I was interested in him, you wouldn't date him. And so I dated him, so you couldn't date him. It's like, wow, what the fuck? Yura is apparently pissed off that Hari is like still being around Minwoo in general. And because not only does she know that like she started dating Minwoo because so Hari couldn't, which pathetic. Sorry, that's pathetic. But also Hari knows that Yura cheated on Minwoo before she left for school, before they broke up. Anyway, Minwoo hears all of this. They basically end up breaking up off screen. But because of this, Yura goes nuclear and posts a photo of Taemu and Hari together when they were traveling with the girls. He's like, she's been obsessed with them for 7 years while they were friends, and even while he had a girlfriend. And now she's dating the boss of her company, and she's two-timing on him and all this stuff. It's so petty and stupid. I hated this because it's one thing to be annoyed that your friend also likes your boyfriend. That's one thing. I get it. You absolutely can be jealous and pissed off about that. It's another thing to want to ruin her relationship, her job, and her livelihood. That's pathetic, frankly. They take down the video of them together. They hand off the product to another team. Hari thinks her life is over. Taemu is still in the hospital with his arm, and they're like, let's not tell him anything so he doesn't freak out, because he will, because he likes Hari. And this entire time, he just keeps telling grandfather, like, I'm going to marry her. Like, you need to accept her, because, like, we're getting married. Like, she doesn't know it yet, but, like, we're getting married. I love her. You can say whatever you want. I'm not listening to you, because grandfather still does not like her. Grandfather basically tells her, like, you should just resign. This is too dramatic. Like, you should just quit. And she's like, no, I'm not going to resign. I'm a great asset to this company. So why would I resign? And which, good point. And her team still loves and supports her. Mr. Gee defends her to other employees. Taemu finds out, goes and finds her. They end up staying together at a hotel. They have sex. It's cute. In the comic, they wait until after they're married to have sex for the first time, which, you know, I think it fit better in the show personally with how things were going. To go back to work, it's kind of like, yeah, we're dating, but like, this is not going to affect our work. We're going to make sure of it. Grandfather fakes illnesses to get Taemu to like be worried about him, but they overhear them saying that it was all faked. So Hari's like, okay, what if I go to the hospital and I take care of him as if he's sick to get him to like me more? They spend like a day together or whatever. And I think he's starting to, the shell is cracking, okay? He realizes that Hari is very sweet. He does like spending time with her. He sees the Gyumki in her that she was, because it was always Hari, even if there was a wig and makeup involved. Because he's in the hospital, the doctors are like, yeah, no, he actually has a problem with his heart still, and he's had too many surgeries. We cannot do another one. And so what ends up happening is Taemu is going to take his grandfather to the US, to New York, to get this new surgery done, because they won't do it in Korea. He tells Hari to come with him. And Hari's like, I can't. I need to have my job here. And your grandfather still does not like me. And this is for his health. I don't think it's a good idea for me to go. But I'll like wait for you in this whole thing. Also, off them, Sung-hoo and Young Seo get engaged. It's very cute. The ring was adorable. I liked the ring box more than I liked the ring. I'm gonna be honest, because there was like lights in the box, and it looked kind of like she had hit the jackpot in a video game. Like, it was like, marry me. I liked it a lot. But her father finds out that she's been dating someone, and so he invites them to dinner and basically kind of phrases it as if he is supportive of her marrying someone who is a commoner, and that he supports their marriage. This is before they actually get engaged. But yeah, then they get engaged. After they like agree to get married and all this stuff, they're like, yeah, we're engaged. Hey, they're gonna celebrate. Young Seo's father calls Sung-hoon and is like, you need to break up with my daughter. And you're a smart man, so I know you won't tell her about this. And she overheard everything. And so she just goes and hands in her resignation and is like, I'm going to make my own company under my own name, and I'm going to marry Sung-hoon, and there's nothing you can do about it. I believe in the comics, she ends up pregnant, because that's why they kind of try and force the other two to get married first so that they can get married, because I think Young Seo will not get married before Hari because of everything that Hari has been through because of Young Seo. At least in the newer comics, she's pregnant, and that's why they're rushing to get married. No one gets married in the show. It's like gonna happen later. But yeah, in the webcomics, there's wedding. Anyway, a year passes. Hari and Taemu are still talking, and then he surprises her by coming back. He proposes to her. She's like, I'll think about it. We'll see about that, like jokingly. But she puts the ring on. And so he's like, that's a yes. Like, we're getting married. Like, this is happening. And it basically is implied the grandfather, not implied. He's like, he's going to meet me out here like in a week. He's doing very good. And he said that if I don't do this or I don't give you this, then I don't bother to see him when he comes back or whatever. And it's basically implying that like grandfather now approves of Hari and him being together. And yeah, that's the end of it. I liked it a lot. The proposal scene was cute, and there was lots of cherry blossoms everywhere. It was very pretty. All in all, I really like the show, if that was not clear to you. If you are a fan of the webcomic, like I said, the show is different, but there's so many, like, even just the mood is so consistent. I liked this a lot. It was cliche. It was fun. I really liked it. And that's why I think the US is no longer allowed to make adaptations, because even though there were things that were different, the overall tone and vibe of the webcomic was still very clear and present, as was the characterizations of the characters from the webcomics. Even just the opening scene of introducing Kang Tae-moo was so cool, because it was kind of like it was like he was like his webcomic counterpart. And then it kind of fades away into the actual actor playing Kang Tae-moo. I liked this a lot. I thought it was really well done. I thought it was fun. I think inducted me into the world of K-dramas. Oh God, I need to get better at reading subtitles. Did you read a business proposal? Did you see a business proposal? Do you like watching K-dramas? Do you think I'm being annoying in this video? That's also very possible. I apologize if I got any of the names wrong, if I butchered any pronunciations. But let me know. Comment down below. Reminder, I have a podcast, the Swell Shenanigans Podcast. Reminder, I have merch like that mug back there. All of that will be linked down below. Shout out to my patrons. Thank you so much for supporting me on Patreon. If you could also support me on Patreon, that'll be listed down below. If you'd like to follow me on social media, that'll be all up here. And that's going to be it. Have a lovely day. Goodbye. I've said this before. I'm like romantically starved right now. Maybe that's why I was just like giggling watching this show. It was so fun. I liked it a lot. It was cute. Thank you, Audrey, Alan, Cameron, Christopher, Chris, Cody, Crash PC, China, Devin, Dirty One, Don, Elliot, Evan, Beckles, Hopeless, Incognito, Jacare, Joe, John, Jordan, Joseph, Kenny, Kim, Kristen, Lamb, Lex, Lisa, Luis, Matt, O, Matthew S, Mew, Michael J, Micah, Nathan, Nathaniel, Pat, Penn, Richard, Rob, Red, Robert, Ross, Sam, Serena, Skylar, Simon, Tasha, Timothy, Tom, Wendy, William, Winter, Zendry's Wing.